A historic day, really, for Sweden and Finland as both start their official bid for NATO membership. Turkey has already thrown a bit of a wrench into the process, blocking the start of negotiations. U.S. President Joe Biden was asked about that. Have a listen to what he said.
I got a call months ago from the president of Finland, wanted to come and see me. I saw him. He told me what he was thinking about, and I got a call that both the leader of Finland and Sweden are coming to see me on Thursday. I think we're going to be okay.
You can convince Turkey to accept their bid?
I think I'm not going to Turkey, but I think we're going to be okay.
So will Finland and Sweden be able to join NATO? What might it mean for the alliance and the war in Ukraine? Finland's ambassador to Canada, Roy Eriksson, is with us from Toronto. And here with me in studio, Sweden's ambassador to Canada, Urban Ahlin. Hello, ambassador. It's a pleasure to welcome you to our program this evening. Ambassador Ahlin, I'll start with you. If you were to explain to Canadians, make the case for your country joining NATO after so many years of, non-alignment, of really neutrality, what is the elevator pitch for it?
I mean, it is an historic moment, of course, for Sweden. I mean, it's more than 200 years of neutrality and military non-alignment. But having seen what the Russians are doing in Ukraine, violating every international law, every international agreement that they have signed on, it means, of course, that we need to, look at the security situation as it is. And both Finland and Sweden has come to the solution that it's such a dramatic change in our neighborhood. So it really means that we think it's the best idea for the security of the Sweden and the security of the Swedish people to join NATO. And in reality, it's a historical moment, absolutely. But Sweden and Finland has been very, very close to NATO since Soviet Union broke down. So we are very close to each other. And, so it's not an enormous step for Sweden. Right. It's more like a natural step for Sweden and Finland actually to join NATO, I think.
Ambassador Eriksson, I'll jump off that point and ask you. Logically, it seems to follow, but it is very significant symbolically, especially in the middle of the war that's taking place. Why do you think it is important to take that next step to formalize, right, the relationship that exists and expand on it in the middle of Russia's assault on Ukraine?
Well, I think the last words that you said just explains it. The security architecture in Europe has changed dramatically, with Russia fighting an aggressive war against Ukraine. And we looked in Finland upon this and drew our own conclusions from that as a neighbor country, not following international rules, not having considerations about national sovereignty and territorial integrity of another neighboring country, we took the decision to weigh pros and cons on joining NATO, and there's a very strong support in the populace for joining. Last week we had the latest poll, and 76% of the population were for joining NATO. So there's a strong support for doing this.
There's an interesting trajectory since this was signaled last week. I mean, it's been signaled for a number of weeks now, but really most strongly last week from Russia itself. And I'd note President Putin's remarks, which, last week there was the threat of retaliation, and now there's, I'm paraphrasing, but it might not be the biggest deal as long as there's no military bases or equipment in your countries. Your response to that, Ambassador Ahlin?
Personally, I really think that the Russians have always considered Finland and Sweden to be part of the Western alliance in one way or another. And we have cooperated so much with NATO. So I don't think it's come as a big surprise for the Russians. But, Putin needs to look himself in the mirror. When he said that Sweden and Finland and others should not be allowed to join NATO, that gives us no, way out. Then we actually need to show that, of course, we decide our own destiny ourselves. And after exactly as Roy said, we also made our security assessment and came up, that the best way forward is actually to join NATO. So that's where we are. And Putin has made lots of threats. That's something we are, of course, looking at. We want to support from other countries in this interim period between we are applying and until we will be under the Article 5 guarantees.
Will you accept those conditions, though?
Which conditions? You mean that the Russians are saying?
The Russians are saying no equipment, no.
No, the Russians are no part in this discussion whatsoever. You know, Sweden and Finland will take their own decisions. We will have the considerations together with NATO, what to do and how to do things. And now it's up to the 30 member countries of NATO to say, do we accept Finland or Sweden as members of NATO? So Russia is no part in this.
So let's talk, Ambassador Eriksson, for a second about one of those members, and in particular Turkey, which has taken the position of, at the outset here, attempting to block the start of negotiations. Do you see Turkey as a permanent impediment to this process getting underway and ultimately being successful, or do you think there is a way around it?
Well, this recent development came to us as a surprise because we obviously had been in contact with NATO members of about our intentions, and all NATO member states, including Turkey, said that they support NATO's open door policy. So this, at this late stage, was quite a surprise. But I think, and I am optimistic, that this is just a small hiccup and there will be a way to find a solution for it.
What do you think, Ambassador Alin, is motivating the Turkish change in posture?
I don't think it's up to me, actually, to, you know, have any guess why Erdogan is saying what he is saying. I'm very humble. Sweden and Finland do not have a right to become members of NATO. It's up to the 30 member countries of NATO now to decide if they want to accept us as members. And we listen to what the Turks are saying. We don't really understand, because when they say, you know, Finland and Sweden, we are not accepting, that we accept the terrorist groups like PKK and so on, we follow exactly the same rules that other EU countries are doing. So, first of all, I would like to understand what the Turks are actually talking about. But as I said, we have a humble attitude. It's up to the 30 member countries of NATO to accept us or not. And so I'm not going to sit here and guess what Erdogan wants and so on. I can only see that in the opinion polls, he's actually pretty low in the opinion polls. I guess he wants out something from this. What? I have no idea. I don't even know it's actually from Sweden or Finland or it's some others he wants some kind of deals with. I don't know.
Let's say, Ambassador Eriksson, that you know, Sweden and Finland are able to navigate around whatever the Turkish impediment is, or perhaps it recedes in the coming weeks. How quickly do you see this process unfolding? Because, for example, countries like this one in Canada, the Foreign Affairs Minister has expressed support for an expedited process. What might that look like?
Well, all information that I have received is that most members, or all member countries, have said that they will welcome Finland, bar from what has happened now with Turkey, and also that there is a readiness to expedite the normal procedures so that the so-called interim period would be as short as possible. I have seen in Finnish media experts kind of guessing how long this would take. And the most optimistic timetable, I don't know if that would be correct, would be that already in the fall, October, November, but before the year end, the ratification process could be over. But this is just what is kind of guesswork.
Right.
It's up to the member countries to do the ratification process.
Okay, well, I look forward to speaking with both of you again throughout that process. Thank you very much for joining our program tonight. Finland's ambassador to Canada, Roy Eriksson, and Sweden's ambassador to Canada, Urban Alin. Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.